what supplements, if any, should you be taking? If you haven't watched my video already and a supplement's good or to be avoided, check out that video on some background we're about to talk about next. But Dr. Miller with some information about what supplements are the good ones, which ones are effective and which one aren't. Now, I'm going to say a few of them that I find effective, but I'm going to give you more of a list of things to consider when evaluating a supplement and whether or not you should consider taking it or not. Okay, and I think these are more important questions because there's so many supplements that come on the market that by the time that you watch this video, there'll probably be 3 more that have become popular. Okay, so let's look at the things that are you should look at when evaluating a supplement. Number one, does it have any physiological bases? So, for example, like the recent outpouring of supplements for nitric oxide usages, and so all the precursors of nitric oxide, L-arginine being one of them. Is that warranted by basic understanding of physiology? Well, the answer appears to be yes, right? So more nitric oxide, better blood flow because vascular, whether it's through like reactive hyperemia or just improved blood flow, like you exercise, the lumen of your vessels gets bigger. The vessel gets bigger. Nitric oxide is responsible for that. Okay, and so ingesting more nitric oxide and its precursors could be better, right? It could be better for your health. It could be better for your recovery. Fine. So that's number one. Is there any physiological underpinnings to this? Number two, is there any research literature to support the usage of this supplement? Okay. Now, the answer to that will probably be, yeah, there's a study. Okay. There's a rat study. Okay. The question you have to ask yourself is how much research do you want to see in favor of this supplement, and how much research would you disregard that is in opposition? Now that means you're going to have to evaluate the research articles themselves. In any supplement, you're going to have to figure out the dose-response relationship, and that's why many supplements may seem like they don't work because whatever dosage was used in the study wasn't high enough. Now the supplement just may not work either, whatever work means. But understanding dose-response relationship is going to be important. So if there's a litany of research to say, okay, we've kind of honed in on this dose-response relationship, like caffeine, for example, that 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight seems to be an optimal dose for most people. Again, it's a general, general recommendations, or 0.3 grams per kilogram of body weight, of sodium bicarbonate or baking soda is effective. Now, some people might get the runs doing that, and some may not. But it's been researched enough. This particular, the supplement we're thinking about has been researched enough that we can confidently say we know a dose-response relationship exists. So you want to start there. If there isn't a dose-response relationship, you're kind of throwing darts in the dark. And if the study says, well, it doesn't work, well, do we have a dose-response relationship, line of research to make sure that we've covered all our bases? Or did the study in question have some doses that may be super physiological for sure? And so there should be an effect. It could be an effect that there's too much. And so having a spectrum of dosage can be very helpful. Okay. So that's number two. Is there any research literature? Again, you have to decide how much you are going to take in, and then the studies that may refute this supplement's usage. What was different? Was it the participants? Was it a rat study? Was it, if you have all rat studies in positive and your 3 studies in opposition are human studies, and you're satisfied with the dose-response relationship, if one exists, but it's all in rats, you might have to start asking questions about it, how effective this supplement is in human beings. And so, I think a lot of times we're very cavalier with what we put in our body. Like, we're more concerned about, I won't put that in my car. I'm not going to put that in my gasoline. Oh, there's a supplement that makes my hair grow. I'll take that, right? I mean, without any question. Okay, we kind of are a little bit of lemmings in that respect, and I'm part of that too. We have to check ourselves. So that's number 2, is how much research are you satisfied with? There's enough. Number 3, and it's related to number 2, is how is the supplement delivered? And so if number 1 is on point, like, okay, there's some physiological underpinnings for this, and number 2, there's some research to support it, well, how was the supplement delivered? And that's very important. So if you think, okay, this supplement is effective in the research literature, but you do your own thing and how it was administered, like if it's in small dosages or whatever, then you may not get the effect that you desire, right? And 1 and 2 will be related as well in the sense of on paper, many times physiological, things that make sense physiologically don't actually bear out when you do it artificially. So if there's something in a banana that is consumed and that provides, it seems to have linkages to some health benefit, but you try to replicate that in a pill, the liver may take it out before you even have a chance to get into your bloodstream. So it might have to be an injectable supplement, and that obviously is something you don't want to necessarily buy at the grocery store. Okay. And so these are things that need to be considered, and usually 1 and 2 will flesh that out, right? If the supplement is ineffective as orally taken or it causes detrimental effects, then that's something you would want to avoid. Okay. And that's that dose response relationship as well. But that's what part number 3 plays into is how is this supplement administered? And then kind of related to that is how is it taken? There's different forms of creatine, for example, right? And some people can handle one form and it's actually better in terms of being absorbed, but other people have GI problems with that form. And so the older form, the monohydrate form, is better and may have the same benefits for that person that can't take it. So this is where we get a little bit into the web here of, individual differences. And then, the argument where the dose is taken and so on. All right. And then number 4, is a supplement, quote unquote, good? Does it match what you need it for? So, people say, well, I'm just going to take creatine. Well, what are you doing? Well, I run distance. Okay. I'm not saying it won't provide any benefit, but creatine is a short-term energy system booster. And so if all you're doing is running long distances, it might be better to take something else that buffers lactate. That might be a better supplement. Like if you only have so many supplement dollars to spend, that might be a better one. Or even just looking at if you sweat heavily, getting some salt tablets, some sodium tablets might be a better investment. And that's a supplement as well, right? That might be a better investment for you. If you're a plant-based athlete, creatine could be the thing. Regardless, just because you don't get any creatine since it's mostly an animal product, so it's an animal products, animal flesh, so you don't get it, and so that would make more of sense for you. If you buy that beta alanine works, and there's some controversy around it, it could be a lactate buffer. If you want to experiment with sodium bicarbonate and you're a rower, that might make sense. So the point is make sure the supplement's fitting for what you want its use. This new information or this new interest in essential amino acids versus whey protein, which one's better? That's still to be decided, but it'll probably be based upon who we're talking about. If you don't want to take on the calories and still get all the essential amino acids, EAAs may be better. But is branched chain amino acids something worth taking? No, not really. If branched chain amino acids are all nested in EAAs and whey protein, why bother? So again, as you're going through this evaluation process, if you think about the physiology, whatever it is you're thinking about taking, think about the research literature to support, understanding dose-response relationship in individual studies may have individual differences in terms of the people that were studied, or if they're animals, other than human beings, right? Were they studied? Is it all rats? I remember silk aminos were really popular. They were just exploded, but there was only one rat study in support. Well, that's not enough yet, I think, to make a move. You should move like a glacier, which is another video to watch on research literature. But take these 4 points in mind. I think it'll help you wade through the minutia of nutrient marketing or supplement marketing. It's very convincing. Some cool names out there. But at the end of the day, as you go through this process of weeding down supplements, I think you'll find that there's this very small list of supplements that actually are as effective as they're touted as being. And then, of course, the difficulty comes in when you have proprietary blends and things like that, which I would avoid, just a side note, because you don't know what you're evaluating. How can you evaluate something you don't know what it is? And so I would definitely avoid those type of things. And again, we're not even talking about purity. We're not even talking about all these other things that are important. We're just talking about evaluating whether a supplement is worth even spending any time, thinking about these issues with purity and other things. Okay, so I hope you find that valuable. Get your diet in order first. Remember, that's priority 1, and that usually will do more for you than supplementing a bad diet. Certainly will.